Hi, everyone. I'm Diane Macedo. Welcome to FoxNews.com Live's Business Hour. I'm in for Lauren Simonetti today, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things Super Bowl related. But first, we want to kick things off with a look at a new Gallup poll that's out today showing that people are becoming increasingly concerned that they won't have enough to save up so they can retire comfortably. So our next guest is going to talk to us all about that. We have Ken Mahoney here, President and CEO of Mahoney Asset Management and the author of Can I Retire? Your GPS for Retirement. And Ken, I know you sort of have a list of tips you go through. Why GPS? Do you look at this as kind of a journey? You can go through these step-by-step instructions and get there?
Right, there's so many books out there that talk about beta coefficients and elasticity of demand.
Yeah, no one even knows what that means.
Exactly. So GPS, that's how I get somewhere. My wife and I don't fight that often now. When we go to a wedding, we don't know how to go there.
Listen, if you guys just stopped and asked for directions, it wouldn't be that big a deal. But so fine, if the little lady on the computer tells you to go that way.
We have Mindy on.
If your wife tells you to make a right, you don't make a right. But if Mindy tells you to make a right, then you go. And sure enough, you get there, right? So, the moral of the story is listen to the women who are giving you directions. But we've strayed here. So back to retirement. Is it the same thing? Just listen to what your wife tells you and you'll get there?
Well, yeah. Some of the biggest mistakes, something like that. Some of the biggest mistakes that investors make, and you kind of think about the Super Bowl this Sunday. We can learn a lot from that game, believe it or not. This is what investors love to do. They love to go up to the 20-yard line, take the snap, drop back, and throw a Hail Mary. You see those Hail Marys? They never work. People drop them.
Hey, I went to Boston College. Hail Marys do work sometimes.
Doug Flutie worked.
Okay,
so sometimes it worked. Doug Flutie did for you, right? That's great. But for most often, though, it doesn't work. What happens in a Hail Mary? They drop the pass. It gets intercepted, run back for 6. And the investors then say, gee, that bomb represents going for a big gain, like a technology stock or
it's all risk
or a penny
reward,
stock.
right? If people want these big gains, but in order to get them, you take a big risk, which means chances are you're going to lose.
Right, but here's the problem, though. After they do that, investors say, I don't want to invest anymore. I don't want to save anymore because I got burned. But that's not investing, it's speculating. This is what they should do. Get to the 20-yard line. Think like Joe Montana. Remember Joe Montana back in the 49ers? He was surgical. He was methodical. Dump off to Jerry Rice, 7-yard slam.
But how do you do that in investing? I mean, it's easy to talk about it in terms of football, but walk us through how you do that when you're managing your money.
Right, you want sustained drives, just like Joe Montana. What you want to do is have a diversification. You want tax-free mutual funds. You want some annuities, diversified mutual funds. If you can make sustained gains over many, many years, the compounding, the stacking returns on top of returns really can get you into the end zone.
When you say defense is the best offense when it comes to investing, what do you mean by that?
Well, again, not throwing those Hail Marys, not doing the flea flicker, not doing the Statue of Liberty and double reverses and all these like kind of crazy.
But talk to me in finance terms, because people don't understand what that means.
Sure they do. Okay.
What do you mean in terms of money, though?
Okay, so we're talking about tax-free mutual funds.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of tax-free mutual funds here in New York State specifically are exempt from federal taxes and state taxes. Okay, right now, last year they returned almost 10%. Okay, we don't know what they're going to return this year. But that's one way to kind of get like a 5–6% gain, little by little marching down the field. You can look at diversified mutual funds. Really what I'm trying to say, stay away from individual stocks, stay away from those Hail Marys. Use professional management, particularly that of mutual funds.
And study the playbook. What is the playbook when it comes to finance? It seems like there's information all over the place, and a lot of it contradicts itself.
Right, there is a lot of contradictions. And the playbook basically is having like a plan, having a playbook. I mean, look, this Sunday, the 49ers and Ravens must have a playbook this thick. God knows what's in it, the X's and O's. Investors don't even have a playbook, but they do. It can be like 8 or 9 pages. Talk about asset allocation, what it looks like down the road for them, their income and expenses. Having a playbook, because once you have the big picture, then you can make
of what all of your finances are doing.
I mean, here's one of the mistakes I see over and over again. And this happened on a Super Bowl Sunday with the Steelers. He was running in for a touchdown. He hot-dogged it.
What kind of mistakes do people make with their money, not on the football field?
Right, but this is what happened. He fumbled it, and what investors do, the same thing with Apple stock. They never got to the end zone. The stock was $400, $500, $600, $700 a share. They never cashed in. They never sold. Now, there's a discipline that you can do with that. So when the stock was going up, people fell in love with it. People love their iPhones. But we're not married to stocks, right? Okay, we do it to make money. We could put a stop-loss order in. Okay, hindsight's 20/20, but when the stock was 700 and you put a stop-loss in at 650, now the stock's 450. You would have been out at 650. The problem is people are not cashing in. They're not getting to the end zone. They say, wow, I'm making all this money.
They're not calling the top. That's what you have to do with a stock. You have to try to figure out where the highs and lows are. And with Apple...
It's very difficult, but that's why I have a stop loss kind of trailing it all along. It takes the discipline out of it. It takes the emotion out of it.
But how do you read? I mean, a stock like Apple is... you know, everybody first thought when Jobs was gone that was going to be the end. You were going to see the stock tanking. It didn't happen. Then when they came out with some of the newer devices that weren't really new, they were sort of upgrades. Well, that's going to tank the stock. And then actually those devices did pretty well. So, I mean, it's how does an investor do their homework to be able to read a stock like that a lot of times the movement of the stock is counterintuitive to what people would think?
No doubt. It's very difficult. Two things you can do here. One is buy in increments. Buy a little bit at a time. If it pulls back, buy some more. As it goes up, you can gradually take some profits. But the stop loss order, not only for Apple stock, but for any stock that you have a tremendous gain in, and just keep raising that stop, will give you a discipline. Everybody's great at buying a stock. No one really knows how to exit a stock.
Be disciplined and not too greedy. All right, Ken Mahoney from Mahoney Asset Management and the author again of Can I Retire? Your GPS for Retirement. We have your website up there. Ken, thanks so much for being on. It's great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you also.
Thanks. I want to retire. We're taking a break right